Hello and welcome to another update. This one, there's a lot of updates, so let's just get started in the Kherson region. In the center offensive, we see that the Ukrainians have managed to restore a pontoon crossing around Andrivka, meaning that they have doubled their supply to the pocket, allowing them to make use of it and properly resupply the forces there, allowing them to conduct another offensive if they are properly supplied in the near future. The front line has been the same since last update, so there's been no changes here. However, with the second pontoon crossing, they're now able to properly supply their forces in the salient. Further north, we see that the Ukrainians have managed to push to Mirulubivka, as well as taking Petrivka in the north, meaning that they are now able to conduct further offensives and finally take Mirulubivka to get proper control over the road here and finish taking Lyubimivka, which will allow them full proper control of this main road here in the north. After which there is reports that the Ukrainians are actually advancing towards Veremivka and Kostyrka to start a battle here as well. That's it for the Kherson front. Moving on to the Lyman front, there are reports that Ukrainians have managed to advance towards this northern area between Kharkivka and Rydkuduk, which is most likely because if we zoom far enough in, we see that the river is actually very thin and shallow here in this area, which means that they could probably pass through without having to do any pontoon crossing and so on. So their objective may be to conduct an offensive where they push from the north towards Rydkuduk and then push southwards and conduct a pincer maneuver towards Serechne and Karpivka. So instead of taking these three villages, they can just encircle them by conducting this pincer attack by pushing from the north. However, it leaves their flanks exposed here in the south as well as from the north, which would allow the Russians to possibly conduct a counterattack to cut off their forces. However, so far we've seen that the Russians rely heavily on artillery, which means that they are more likely to fall back to a proper position to conduct their defensive strategies properly, as a counteroffensive is not in alignment with their defensive strategies. As for the south, the fighting is still ongoing around Novoselivka and Druzhneve, which means that they are still attempting to conduct this pincer maneuver around Lyman, and there's been no updates here in the south. Finally, in the Kharkiv front line, the Ukrainians have managed to pass through the river, the Oskil River, around Sinkove, where they have conducted a pontoon crossing and are now fighting in the village of Kruchliakivka. And further north, they have passed through the river and are now fighting at the eastern part of Kupiansk, as well as the eastern part of Hulubivka, where they have advanced through the river and are fighting to the north of Kupiansk, as there's no village here, which means that they are trying to conduct this river bank under their own control, which will allow them to conduct further offensives in the area. And finally, the Ukrainians are still fighting here in the north around Tevilshanka as well as Dorovorikne, and there's no clear info yet as to where and how far they've gotten. However, they are fighting in between these four villages under the Russian control. So that's it for this update. Thanks for watching and have a great day.